gentlemen, here's John and Danny.
Guys, welcome to Grim After Dark, where we bring you the latest unreal news and unqualified analysis from the grim darkness of the far future. I am your host, John. I'm going to be guiding you through the tumultuous events of the 41st millennium and beyond. So grab your dice, assemble your miniatures, and get ready for some epic battles. It's going to get pretty grim after dark. Joining me on the show today is my good friend and fellow Warhammer fanatic, I guess, Danny McDevitt.
Does that make me a night goblin? Because I'd really like to clarify that I don't feel like a fanatic, and I definitely haven't taken mushrooms before we started this.
Our friend Nathan would be the fanatic with his one massive ball.
There you go. Perfect.
Usually we are joined by our fearless triple co-host, Val. But Val is busy today. I do believe we have a picture of what he's up to right now.
A black screen. It's all void.
Black screen. He is lost. Yeah. He's lost in the void as we buy super producer Dickie some time to figure this out here. It's amazing, Danny. How are you doing?
Oh, John, I'm doing great. I'm excited to be here tonight, as always, and I'm excited to talk about some Warhammer stuff. There's been some crazy stuff that happened this week, huh?
I will say we do have some of the crazy stuff. The episode title, I don't know if you saw it or not before you came in here, Danny. I called this episode Running a Terrain on You.
Running into what?
Running a terrain on you. Oh, there's Val.
Oh, perfect.
Wow. Yeah. So Val's super busy. He's taking care of JVP tonight and also hosting Adam Camilleri his last night. So that is a very accurate picture as Dickie quickly resizes away from his internet tabs.
It's cute, actually. I don't know. I kind of like little Adam.
Little Adam.
Yeah.
His hula hooping skills quite amazing. But yeah,
I believe it.
Val's away, the kids will play, so we'll talk about probably some games played and some hobby stuff as well.
He's always bragging about how well those hips move. So
they don't lie, Danny. They do not lie.
They do not lie.
We can though. We do have super producer Dickie in chat here. Dickie, if you want to jump in and help out tonight.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, hey, guys, can you hear me?
I can.
Great. Ooh, it's hot in here.
I'm glad you reduced the amount of fire in our production office as we show why we start on time.
Yeah, I gotta say, I wasn't expecting to have to take over tonight. It's really warm in here again, and alarms keep happening. Oh, shit. Oh, God. You know what, guys? Let me deal with this, and I'll get right back to you, I'm sure. Okay, bye-bye.
Okay, awesome. Everything. By the way, this is a really great week in production, and there's only 2 alarms and a fire.
Brother, there's 2 sets. That makes it a great week.
Multiple sets. Guys in chat, did you guys actually get funding? No. See, the crazy thing that happens here is... Danny, you can attest to this. Danny, I have some phenomenal ideas. Well, my issue is usually I just never follow through with them. The new intro you saw, I threw that together this week. I say I threw it together because really I should have been doing my class final. But I was like, you know what? Let me learn how to use After Effects instead, and I'll just do that.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
That makes sense. That's how to do it. And then Dickie had this great idea to show our production studio, and then he came back with that amazing set. And you're probably never going to see any more improvements to the show because that's it. That's all you get.
We're done.
That's all you get.
We peaked.
We peaked. That's it. But yeah, budget funding? No. Patreon. Now that's something we might do.
Yeah, actually. That set is entirely due to Tanya, the War Mistress, donating us $5 at the Super Chat last week. Thank you. $5 Canadian. John will do anything.
Yeah.
So just keep that in mind.
You can watch this show live every Monday at 10 p.m. Central, Eastern-ish, around about there. And contractually, Super Chats we will read, regardless of what it says when it's on or what we're talking about.
I'll read it.
Yeah. Dickie, if you're here, who's taking care of the fire.
It was so goddamn hot back there. I can't do that shit anymore.
Okay,
I'm
well,
sorry.
I do need a slide up, so I'm
Oh.
going to need you to
Oh crap.
Get back under
get
that
back in
desk.
there.
Oh god.
Get back there. But yeah, and something else we're going to try to do is we're going to try and sectionalize the show a little bit and add some structure to this craziness.
Sexualized?
We're going to sexualize, the show a little bit more than it already has.
I'll try.
So,
and do
Daddy,
better.
where to start? With a little thing where I want to talk about what was released on Saturday, and we're going to look over some of the new releases coming for Warhammer 40,000.
What?
Starting with this next slide here, which I call World Eaters, probably all already sold out. Danny, all of this range came out. You can tell I borrowed the pictures from Warhammer Community because it says pre-order now. What's feelings on the World Eater range that came out and is available now? Frontlinegaming.org or your local game store.
John, it's what the people wanted, and everybody wanted an army with like 20 unit entries and 16 stratagems. We've been begging for it for years. Yeah, this is what we got. This is
my favorite thing about the 20 unit entries is the 4 that I'll actually use.
Only 4? Come on, you got
Sure,
at least
yeah.
6 in your army, I bet.
Lord Avocado.
Yeah.
8-bound.
Yeah.
Spawn.
Yeah.
Hellbrutes.
Exalted 8-bound. Probably Berserkers.
5 there. Seth and Mad Dog coming in saying Signals is obviously the best show on the network, and Seth and Kicker are just the best.
Yeah, that's why we're stealing your bit tonight, Seth, and we're reporting what's coming out.
That's right. We were specifically asked to promote more because other shows don't do as good a job at it there.
Right.
Also coming out here, next slide I have up is boarding action boxes and ruleless books, as we can pull up here. Danny, Arc of Omens now book 2. Angron is the first one that really doesn't have much of any rules that most people are going to find. What's your thought about these Arc of Omen books coming out being essentially very expensive fluff books?
Aren't they? Don't they have boarding action rules, like supplemental rules for the boarding action rules that came out
probably.
in the Arc of Omen book?
Have you played a lot of boarding action?
No, but I've got a game scheduled next week.
No. Well, we don't talk about games played here. That's like the one editorial.
I'll read this.
Yeah,
Tau
go ahead.
are a legitimate faction, and their players should be respected. Also, World Eaters are obviously less powerful than the greater good.
That's fair and true. I will say I did go to a friendly tournament on Saturday, and I brought along Mangron for people to see release day, do all that other kind of thing. Our friend Taylor's face when he saw my tray coming in being held with Angron's wings poking out of it, and he was like, "You son of a bitch!" And I'm like, "Nope, no, he's not on my list." But that's okay.
He's just here for display purposes.
Just for display purposes here. And I will say, I did say I repainted the base. I have not repainted the base. Mainly because I refuse to give in to cyberbullying, and neither should you. So that base is going to stay that way permanently forever.
Honestly, if people said the things to me that they said to you, that base would have been painted that day.
Yeah, for sure. But
I'm extremely susceptible to peer pressure.
But I will say, like I said, I refuse to give in to cyberbullying, which is why I'm still here live every Monday night at 10 p.m.-ish on the Frontline Gaming Network. But yeah, that's about it for releases. Seth, I know you're watching. That's how you do it. Super quick. Painless.
Obviously.
Let's go.
Thanks,
Go Princess. Yeah, super chat.
Yeah.
Obviously. Perfect. And then we're going to go, let's move on. We have an update, Danny, on the most requested item on the show. We're going to see here in slide 3, the Winning Dings dice. Guys, get excited. I have done the necessary work to do absolutely zero to move this forward this week. We're still planning on doing it, but I believe I need to email someone or ask questions or do something. They'll probably come. I have not done any work on it. Danny, have you done any work on this front?
On the Wingdings dice?
Yeah.
No. Was I supposed to?
No, that was on me.
Oh, thank
again.
Christ.
Well, the dangerous thing here is you've left myself and Val probably in charge of trying to figure out how to get it to happen, which are the two people you probably don't want to leave the end stage part of it here.
True.
Um,
That's been my
guys, it's going to
general
happen.
experience.
It's going to happen, and just if I keep on leaving the slide in the weekly slideshow, then I'll be shamed into eventually doing it. Maybe. Who knows? Hey, Danny, there's this little show on Comedy
Yeah.
Central. It's fairly popular, I believe. South Park. Have you heard
Never
of this
heard of
show?
it.
Never
What's
heard
it
of it?
about?
It's a very poorly animated show. It looks like it's a piece of paper.
Oh, yeah, okay.
We have Danny, you want to read the super chat here? We're just going to kill at it. Keep derailing the show.
Peter Colosimo, whoever that is, paid $5 Canadian, so thanks for the $3.
Yeah,
I ordered
believe he's a
1,000
dentist.
wingdings dice at Caesar's Buffet the minute you guys brought it up.
You did not physically order those because you didn't confirm the symbols, because I know you don't watch this regularly. So, but this little show, South Park, they had a Warhammer reference here that was sent to us, where Tolkien, one of the characters here, had a Warhammer 40,000 Raven Guard poster here.
Oh.
Danny, this is another appearance of Warhammer in popular culture. Are you starting to notice kind of new players in the tournament scene, or kind of people, the community expanding as Warhammer gets more and more mainstreamly popular?
John, no, I haven't. But
no, good. Keep the new people out.
Yeah, look, I'm excited that we're here. That there is some stuff showing up in mainstream culture. I think that's pretty cool. And for one, I couldn't be more excited to see something on one of my favorite shows like South Park.
The bit, like, literally 2 minutes ago, less than that, was that you had no idea what South Park was. I'm going to need some consistency with your character moving
Look,
forward
man.
here.
I'm sorry, you're just not going to get it.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Consistency?
How? Yeah. Who knows? And Dickie, feel free to just chime in whenever.
I'm in. I'm here.
Perfect. How do longtime players feel about kind of the increased visibility of Warhammer? Because we know there's some assholes out there, and also there's just some terrible people. So how are these people feeling about this increased visibility?
Oh, good news! We got a super chat. Just a bunch of awkward silence.
Oh God. Super chat from Kelsey. Thank you, Kelsey. Use code Falcon on all websites
for an extra 10% off. Wow.
Any website, all websites,
yeah.
For an extra 10%
added.
Oh.
We gotta get with Frontline to see if we can have a code that literally just adds money to your total. That would be peak. Yeah, how do you think people are handling this increased visibility? So while it's positive, there's a lot of bad parts for community who might not.
And I assume this is fielded towards me. I am
or Dickie. Just
yeah,
the
sure.
one I'm looking
Whichever.
at right now.
Dickie, you can have the next one, man. All right, how about this? So it might expose some of the less good parts of our community to the spotlight, and who knows, maybe they'll burn away in the sunlight like most basement dwellers do. But you never know, and we might just it might just kind of become that 40K is known for its ample supply of chuds, but we'll see if that ends up being the case. I'm just excited. More spotlights means more interest, means potentially more players, so I'm excited about that part.
So Dickie, we're going to throw this in here because Danny threw the next one over to you preemptively.
Thanks, Danny.
You are welcome.
On his part is a very good move. Are we seeing a growth in Warhammer's popularity due to increased visibility, or are we seeing increased visibility due to the growth in its popularity?
So the whole chicken before the egg kind of deal, huh? Wow.
Deep question.
Yeah, that's a very deep question. I think it's probably because of people are talking about it on mainstream media, I would imagine. Sorry to get the straight answer, but yeah, that's got to be the reason, right?
You know, the kids are excited about it. Kids love it.
The kids,
thankfully,
thank God,
they keep playing Space Marines as the South Park character does, so they can continue to be terrible. So GW can blame that on the reason why Space Marine win rates are lower. Guys, here's a less serious question for you. What is the worst possible show that Warhammer could be featured on?
Can I got one. I mean,
Go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go.
Love Island.
Love
I
Island.
mean,
Yeah.
come on, man. There's better ones than that. I mean, you could go straight up Fuckboy Island. Like, that show is just an absolute travesty.
There was chat coming in hot with To Catch a Predator.
Yeah,
Oh,
I like
jeez.
that one.
Oh.
There
That is
was,
not
I
a good
saw
one.
a clip online. There's a documentary about people living with the pain of having massive penises and
Oh,
how, like,
yeah.
there's a documentary about that. They're interviewing this guy who's obviously wearing like jogging pants because he can, jeans just can't contain his rage.
Yeah,
Um,
there's girth.
He was painting an Abaddon model during that thing, and I was like,
Oh
huh.
no, not like this.
huh,
Dude.
okay. Some real BDE in that new Chaos
Damn.
book. Literally.
Wow, we're getting
Yeah,
some really
you know,
great
and I
ones.
don't. Well, were they gray?
Great, I said great.
Oh, I thought you were talking about his sweatpants.
Well, probably.
We
No,
got,
I don't want to promote this dongoloid propaganda that this guy like espouses, because like really, we all know where we stand.
not on that documentary.
Yeah, not well. That guy stands on something a lot of us probably don't.
So chat coming as well by saying Master Chef
Yeah.
would be a bad one.
Jersey
River
Shore.
monsters.
River monsters.
Teen Mom, Jersey Shore. This is all great for people.
What
who
about
watched
that
MTV
intervention show?
2002.
You know the intervention show?
The horror.
That would be good though. I think like it should show
I
up on
buy
that show.
too much Warhammer kind of thing. Oh
Ooh.
no.
You just have the Hoarders people show up at the Art of War House and be like, describe your living room to me. What is this green wall for?
Has there ever been a model in your bathroom for an extended period of time? If so, you probably have a problem.
We're going to move on, and we're not going to talk about that anymore. This next picture here I have titled, David Harbour panders to nerds, wants to play a High Lord, probably. This was shared on Instagram by David Harbour's wife. Danny, is David Harbour playing Warhammer enough to forgive him for his part in the Hellboy reboot?
Oh.
Well, okay. I don't think that movie was that bad. I saw it in the theater. Look, he's no Ron Perlman, but it was fine. Like, it was fine. That being said,
that's your all-star defense review about the Hellboy movie is I went to the theater, it wasn't as good as the other one, but it was fine.
It was fine. Yeah, I mean, it was fun. I liked that movie. You know, that's the metric I base my movie reviews on.
That's fine.
More or less, not like skillful acting or a deep script, which they never are. But yeah, more about fun.
Yeah.
Anyway, what were we talking about again? You know what? Hold
David
on.
Harbour.
Well, what do you?
So
what?
I just like as in the spirit of shilling,
Oh boy.
Okay.
I'd like to promote this new piece of Grim After Dark technology. This is a
Ooh.
branded
Oh.
breathalyzer.
What?
You can order this. Just email john.quennell@gmail.com and he will
That is
absolutely
really
send you
close.
one.
Please do not do that again.
Wow.
That's not your real
Breathalyzer.
email, is it?
That's very close.
I do have a question, and I think this for more shilling.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would you buy a T-shirt with Nerd Alert on the front of it?
Now,
No.
I have been talking to the kids about how social
Oh, the
media
kids.
works.
The kids. Okay.
And if you want to pull this up here,
Yeah.
that is not actually a T-shirt with Nerd Alert. That is an added text.
I know.
afterwards.
But I saw the shirt and I was like, I'd probably wear a T-shirt with Nerd Alert on it.
There was a dude at LVO
Did you have
this
it in
year
like the
who had
Times
a.
New Roman font? It is.
Yeah, just.
Is that what it is?
I believe
It's not
so. Or
Cambria.
it might be Cambria. But I'm sorry, Danny,
Jesus.
I interrupted you.
I saw a guy at LVO this year with a shirt that was like a Letterman's jacket, like sweatshirt, like a school shirt, and it said
Mhm.
video games on it. That's it. no symbols, no nothing, just video games, and it made me laugh like out loud.
Was
and
it
so,
PD Punch Beef?
I mean, look, it can't hold up to PD Punch Beef. I really want to know that story.
Truly, well, Ken, if you
wear
are
that
no
shirt.
PD Punch Beef, please ask him why he's called that. That's quite fun. Real quick, cast David Harbour in a 40K thing. Who's he playing?
Ooh,
Who's he playing?
Logan Grimnar.
Okay.
I don't know. Like what is he known for? Being that weird cop guy in Stranger Things?
And Hellboy.
And
I'm gonna typecast him. Magnus, Demon Magnus.
Oh, that could be good.
Because he's been red before, and he can be red again.
I guess you're right. Yeah, that makes sense.
Oh man, it's a bad joke, but I like it.
Yeah. And if you guys can leave 5-star reviews for this show with that exact copy of it's a bad joke, but I like it.
Yeah.
That would be amazing. Hey, this was a meme that was sent to us. I called this picture "The Indie in the Cupboard" is probably not a cool title anymore, guys. But Danny, could you describe what we're looking at here?
Well, so this is a meme we have here. The first image is a picture of the movie Indian in the Cupboard, which is made of a book that I read the entire series of when I was a kid. It's about a fictitious young man, and this is a fantasy. Just so we're clear, did not actually happen. This isn't a documentary.
What? It's going to change.
I know. Shocking.
Wait a second. I'm going to go back.
So this is from the 1995 film Indian in the Cupboard.
Did you quickly Google that while you were buying for time with words?
Absolutely, yes.
I'm impressed.
There's a light shining in on what appears to be no longer a toy Native American. On the top panel, the bottom panel is a picture of Jordan Peele sweating profusely from a sketch from Key and Peele, I believe.
Yeah.
Scene with the title 40K collectors over the top of his head.
Implying the 40K
the implication, of course, here,
of course.
Which if you haven't gotten, is that 40K players would not like their models to come to life.
Huh.
Okay, guys. So your Warhammer models come to life in a Native American in the cupboard scenario. What are they saying to you?
Look,
That's so
John.
broad. That's a very broad statement.
Yeah.
What do they say to me?
Yeah, what do they say to you when you open up that IKEA glass cabinet?
I think we need Danny and I need some backstory. So were they like alive but couldn't talk or emote at all when they were in plastic?
I haven't
form?
watched the movie. I don't know. I don't stand for
Have
this.
you read the book? It's like a
No.
children's classic, John.
Yeah.
I'm an adult man.
Peter says it was based on a real story too. So
That's true. That's true.
must be true.
Okay. So, well, then looking at this, using the thing, they've always their memory has been retained.
Yeah.
They have seen all.
Uh-huh.
They have seen everything that goes on since their final completion of building, not painting. What do they say to you?
Okay, so they had cognitive ability during the whole time they were
Yeah.
alive. Okay.
God, they've seen my dick a lot.
So if you were to see your dick a lot, what would they say?
Dude,
We're sorry? Like, what do you...
No. It's more like man. No, they would say, yeah, that's exactly what they say. We're sorry.
We're sorry.
Sorry, dude.
Sorry
that
about
sucks.
that,
You
buddy.
got dealt a really poor hand.
What would be the worst possible model to come to life? If you're like, God, why this one?
Probably a Warlord Titan.
Really?
Because you were like,
I mean, that'll
spent a
kill
lot of
you.
money.
It'll just kill you.
That's fair.
You're just a flesh creature.
I think
It'll blast you.
that 1,000 coat of art coat thing, if that came to life, that would be pretty horrifying.
Oh, the coming at?
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be pretty bad there too.
If demons came to life in this, would they then exist, like, in not just in like a
Wow.
corporate reality sense, but also like spiritually. So do we
I-
take that into consideration?
Ooh.
I believe it would be like a Buzz Lightyear situation where they would
Mhm.
believe that they did, but really
Okay.
they're just a toy.
Is that from the new Buzz Lightyear movie, or is that from Toy Story?
I mean, probably Toy
I haven't
Story.
seen the Buzz Lightyear movie. That's why I'm asking.
It's surprisingly good. Don't worry, we'll have our episode where we review Lightyear, a
Oh,
Buzz Lightyear
great.
story, and
We'll
Chris
have
Evans
to
great
get,
role in that later.
Falcon on for that one.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
He's an expert in all things Chris Evans, so he's
Yeah.
the person I would want to talk to about that. But more seriously, how far
Is
away,
he?
guys, do you think?
Yeah,
He told me he was.
obviously.
And that's what matters. But how far away are we from augmented reality Warhammer, where no models, just weird animated things like the chessboard thing in Star Wars?
John, it's literally years away. I
Years.
couldn't be more excited.
Wow.
Years. Perfect. That section
great
went about
answer.
as well as I would want it to go.
Really proud
as
of
I
that.
thought it would go. This next picture, Danny, also needs some explanation. It's called "The Most Disturbing Thing is the Lack of a Tail."
Oh, Jesus.
This was found by Val, and then he
Come
abandoned us in our hour of need.
Oh, no.
But what are we looking at here?
Well, this is is this a scaly? Is that what you would call this? Like, a furry but with scales?
Oh, yeah, I guess you kind of would.
Kind of?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like a combination of a lizard person and a pinup model. It's terrible.
Do you think because it's a scale bikini that this lizard is wearing, is that part of its skin, or is that something it's wearing by choice?
John, do you wear other animal skin? Because I do.
I mean, I do. Yeah.
I think
So
So you think she's skinned her last friend and turned it into a two-piece?
well, maybe.
John, is that the kind of animal skin you're wearing?
It very much is.
The most
Okay.
Very much
disturbing thing about this is that they got the tan lines inside the butt right.
Oh, they spent a lot of time on that.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, that area has numerous coats of paint.
Oh, gosh. Oh, boy.
Paint.
Yeah.
I will say my next question, and maybe Dickie, you can answer as Val. But Val, why? Why did you send this?
Well, he's
Good
really
question.
depressed that his 3D printer doesn't work, so he's probably just like searching random STLs to get himself hyped back up to print that horrible model.
I really just wanted you to say he's really depressed and then just like leave it at that.
Okay, retake. We'll redo. Okay. Oh, he's really
okay.
depressed, guys.
Hey, we'll get that. We'll get that.
We'll edit that for the record. Yeah.
Sure will.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's now canonical to me that all skink tails are just butt plugs.
Aw.
Oh man.
What would Danny? You play fantasy, which is a word I hate to use with this picture.
Did you throw up in your mouth? You couldn't even get it out there.
But what is this a proxy for in Warhammer Fantasy? What would you use this model
Nothing.
for if you had to?
Trash.
You have to.
I have to use
you
it.
have to
You
use
have
it as
to
part
use
of a Lizardman army.
Oh, I got it. I
oh
got it.
boy.
I painted up as a statue
Oh,
and use it as a
That's-
unit filler.
it's a very
Dude,
odd
that's so
statue to
cheating.
have.
That's cheating.
Hey, look, lizards aren't immune to being horny, man.
It's fair. So that's cold-blooded.
Yeah, oh boy.
Hey, you played this game before. You know what the rules are.
That's right. That's right. I do. Moving on. Let's get that away.
Yeah,
This
wash it
one,
out.
A new army in this economy. This is a long one. I'm going to read to you guys. It was sent to us here. Probably going to get a lot of flack for this because GW is a business. Blah blah blah. But I study politics, economics, and counterterrorism,
Oh,
and I don't understand the price increase.
Oh.
My main issue is that this is not the same GW as the GW in 2012, where they were just not surviving. GW has record profits, the highest customer count in their history. Warhammer products and IP are being sold now more than ever. It's
Yep.
never been as popular. You can see this is in the year-on-year record profits. So personally, I don't understand why the price rise in a cost of living price, and this is just my speculation, but also a wartime environment economy as well. I love GW products. I've got a 15,000 point Black Templar army and a Forge World Warbringer Titan. I have spent a lot pre-cost of living crisis, but since the cost of living crisis, I don't even buy paint from GW. This post will get laughed at because those types of people would be the types to tell me to stop playing or go somewhere else, or that GW isn't a charity. Totally understandable. Like, value is in the eye of the beholder, but for a lot of us vets, I am 24. Oh, he's a vet. This is from Seth. I am 24 now. Been in this hobby since I was 7. The prices are just too crazy. I'm open to all discussions so long as they are respectful. Edit. I just want to say my main point is, under a normal year, I do understand, but since the UK is currently in a wartime economy and we have a cost of living crisis, this is why I'm confused. Mix that in with the record year-on-year profits. Danny, I was going to ask Val this, but is the UK in a wartime economy, seeing that they are not at war?
Yep. Well, no, dude. Of course they're on war.
Who are they at war with?
What? Themselves. Come on, man. Like, look. I've seen all the political posts. I know what's going on. Well, no, I don't. I have no idea what's going on over there. I don't have time to pay attention to that stuff. But really, I guess what this boils down to is my advice for this young man is to stop playing and go somewhere else, please.
Dickie,
Yeah.
these price increases, because we're seeing kind of, like I said, GW announced last week 6.5% price increase pretty much across the board, and combined with last year shows that prices over the last few years have gone up about 16 to 17%. Were you surprised by the announcement of price increases?
Yeah. And in order to battle it, I just bought all the Warhammer I'm going to need for the next year and a half last week. Yeah. That's what I did.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Danny, 6.5%. I think we both saw price increases coming. It's almost an annual thing now. It's a joke, but at the same time, how do you feel about that 6.5% number? Do you think that's too high, too low? Baby bear just right?
Yeah, I feel pretty mixed on it. We haven't had a plastic increase in a minute, although there's been stealth increases kind of as stuff comes out.
Mm-hmm.
Like, some of the prices are a little ridiculous, but overall, it's an expensive hobby.
Yeah.
I'm glad the 20% thing turned out to not be real.
Someone did send us that all prices in the US were going up by 20%, and we got very angry for a short amount of time.
With the spreadsheet. It made me really upset. Like, I was like, all right, well, I'm going out and buying stuff today.
I will say that pre the increase, I bought a whole bunch of boxes of 8-bound, and I was slightly unhappy with the result of those purchases because I needed, I think, 8 boxes. And
now you need one more because of your dog.
Yeah, now I need one more because of my damn dog. But they seemed a bit expensive. So, but I did it because it's my army. Blah blah blah. And that is that the answer? I think GW knows we're gonna say. If they're my army, I'll do it. Blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do you think with the way pricing is going, Danny, that we're going to see people faction focus a lot more? Because right now, there's a lot of people, sort of me included, where like I should maybe just focus on one faction, but I kind of split it across 8 to 12.
Mm-hmm.
Are we going to see players just kind of maybe narrow down their focus to maybe 2 to 3?
At a 5% increase? No. I don't think that's like a meaningful difference. It might be the straw that breaks the camel's back for some people. And so maybe they'll be more faction focused, but I think the people that are faction focused will continue to be so. I don't know that it's going to create or it's going to stop people from meta hopping or anything like that. Just, I don't know. I just don't see that.
Yeah, totally fair. Do you think price increases would stop if people promised to stop responding to every fucking post by saying 3D printer go burr? Because I would legitimately be like, okay, we won't increase prices if you just shut up. I understand you own a 3D printer. That's great. Please stop talking about it. Not because they're a threat to my business, but because it's really annoying and you also create things like that skink.
Yeah.
Would that be a
Yep.
skink or a skank?
A skank.
Skank. Yeah.
No,
Fair.
I don't want to do that. Come on. It can
Yeah,
just be a
that's fair.
skink. It's hot in
That's
Lustria.
That's fair. KR Quintero saying it's 12 factions painted. I'm impressed. No,
Oh,
they are not painted.
Painted.
At least one of those factions is still shrink wrapped. I will say. And I am the proud owner of probably about 9,000 points of Necrons now. Not a single one painted.
Dang. You might have more than me, John.
I think so, but I want to. There's some major gaps in my collection I need to fill, but sadly they're all direct now.
There's major gaps in your collection, but how many impulsors do you own?
So moving on.
Yeah, John, how many impulsors do you own?
How many
No,
impulsors?
why don't you?
So I own 7 impulsors.
Okay. Yeah. That seems like a perfectly normal number.
Yeah.
You know, it was a meme 2 years ago when I bought them all. Now it's a surprisingly viable Space Marine Army list.
Well, who's gonna take this? Who's gonna take this super chat from Kelsey?
I'll do it. If you want, do you want to do it, John?
I got
You
it.
can do it.
I have studied counterterrorism, law, lizard women jiu-jitsu, and I have very reasonable opinions. I am definitely not a 15-year-old. Danny, you're currently getting your like lawyer doctorate. Do they offer a minor in
Perfect,
counterterrorism?
Yeah, actually it does. That's part of the curriculum. It depends on how you want to specialize your law degree, but you can definitely get counterterrorism law added to your degree for only like a nominal $5 fee.
Oh.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Well, one $5 super chat will make Danny actually study counterterrorism because it's obviously just $5.
It's just me playing the original Rainbow Six for like 3 hours. That's my studying.
That's true. I do want to say, and this will be the last direct specific plan shilling. If you guys are concerned about the increasing cost of living, in this next slide here, if you go to tinyurl.com/40k Grim and buy your supplies from Frontline Gaming, especially their second-hand store, there's some amazing deals in there. I want to highlight this one that I bought this week because I do check it every other day or so for new things. I got a brand new, fully built Necron monolith for $50.
Wow.
Which is significantly cheaper than the $170 it is new, or like the 145-ish it is with the 15% off for Frontline. The secondhand store is a great place to both get rid of your models that you're not using and buy the ones that you want to use. So yeah, tinyurl.com/40k Grim.
What a deal.
Love it.
That's a good deal.
What a deal.
Yeah.
Very excited.
I bought 3 of them at full retail.
You did.
Gross.
You did. I'm just going to slowly wait for the intern to put up the wrong price for models and go that way, which is what actually happened there. And yeah, chat, that is a really good price. I honestly was expecting an email to be like, yeah, so we put that up by mistake. We're not going to sell to you for that much, but that's okay. They will, well, they shipped it now, so we can do this next session. Danny, I called this slide. It's named after the episode, Running a Terrain on You. Which I have down as a semi-serious discussion because I know Reese was on Signals last week to kind of talk about some of the feedback of the terrain from the event, which was generally very well received. But the perceived feedback from the community was going to say the feedback of the community was best described by this slide that I found here.
Danny, can you explain this slide?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
okay, so this is a gentleman obviously engrossed in I don't know what game that is, but he's playing it looks like some kind of first-person shooter.
Yeah.
It says defeat on his screen. He's obviously just died. In between him and the screen is a cat, orange and yellow cat, or orange and white cat, that says skill Isu, which is a misspelling of issue.
Yeah.
In that this is a cat that is that the skill issue is between this man and his death in the game. He's also wearing headphones.
Also spelling, yeah, but both those things.
So, terrain, obviously a massive part of it here. I did do some responses on Reddit, which is obviously a mistake to do.
Yeah,
with people who weren't happy with sort of the LVO terrain set, and they're like, yeah, we should just get together. some other person should do it. So I kind of did some math because I can do that now a little bit.
Oh,
And I worked out that if you were to spend 3 hours making one table's worth of terrain, and that table was worth of terrain, I was using original London Grand Tournament terrain, so $20 a table. To recreate the Las Vegas Open's terrain alone in that time frame, it would take 60 days of continual terrain building, and it would cost about $10,000 at $20 a table. So probably not a viable thing to just straight out replace. But Danny, let's talk terrain, and especially let's talk about pot or the player optimized terrain.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, let's talk about pot.
Yeah. So with pot, what sort of happened is terrain for these massive tournaments is obviously a huge investment of time, resources, money, people. Totally get that. And then a couple of years ago, we had a edition change, which called for a lot more terrain a lot quickly, which invalidated a lot of things. And we saw player optimized terrain coming in as the solution to these changes. Talk about player optimized terrain, kind of what it is and what it brought to the table, if you pardon the pun, in a way of kind of fixing some of the issues we were seeing early edition.
Sure. Well, I think player optimized terrain gives you kind of a new view on like what's important and like on a game table, of course. And then also like it can really change your perception of what good terrain really means. And so player optimized terrain is where you get a set number of pieces and you can set them up on your side of the table before the game begins. It makes it so that this is kind of another mini game that you have to play before the game. So you're playing terrain, you're playing secondaries, you're playing army composition. So all three of those things are mini games that you're playing before the actual game starts, and then the gameplay begins, and that's where those different things can maybe give you an advantage whilst playing the game.
What are we seeing sort of a lot of, because a lot of the comments are coming, people losing the game before the game even starts because of their interpretation and ability with that player optimized terrain.
It honestly takes a bit of practice, I think, to really maximize that. And especially if you don't have the terrain sets close to you, that can be potentially an issue, or at least have the ability to like see what the terrain looks like. Also, if you're not familiar with said terrain, I can see where like if a piece is damaged or missing pieces and it doesn't like really work the way it's supposed to, and you don't read the rules packet at all, like I can see how that potentially is an issue as well, with like line of sight and things like that. So yeah, I mean, I think that there's a lot of moving pieces here that really kind of make up for terrain that isn't like necessarily maximized for 9th edition. Which has its pros and its cons, obviously. I think that there's been a move to at least update the terrain as time goes on, especially for LVO. You can see that they have a lot more of the fully color printed tables. One of the nice things about those is that Frontline can actually produce those tables themselves, literally print them and cut them out and just assemble them at the store. There.
Terrain go burr.
Yeah, and they don't have to replace all their tables, right? I mean, I don't think that that's necessarily like the go-to thing here, but I think the new terrain is much better formulated for 9th edition, so it's really in a perfect timeline because they're definitely not getting a new edition this year or anything like that, and they can really kind of maximize that for the next year.
Absolutely not between the last week of June, where GW is told its staff they're not allowed to take a week off. Yeah. Definitely nothing lined up with the 40th anniversary of GW. Definitely nothing lined up with the Space Marine 2 release.
Nope.
Wow. Absolutely no rumors out there that 10th edition will be coming in June. But how do you as a business sort of plan for that? Because we're looking to getting another thing sort of as before, where we're hearing rumors of like just big changes to the game again, where terrain's going to play a much bigger piece.
Yeah. And that'll be really interesting to see. I do think, and as mentioned in the chat here, Joel Atkins says there should be a separate group for top ICC players. Now, I don't necessarily really disagree with this. I think this is probably a really really good move on a lot of different levels to have like a qualifier, so to speak, instead of trying to lump everybody together in like a 1 million person event.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's worth it to have kind of like, you know, a top 24 or a top 32, like kind of like Masters event that really should be pushed as kind of like the premier event of 40K.
Let me throw something at you here that I
Yeah.
think is something that should happen, which obviously is going to mean it's a terrible idea. I think the top 24 or so players who were at LVO shouldn't have to play day one.
Oh, you're wrong. Why? Why are they even in the tournament then?
Because they're still
Like-
going to play. Like, right?
It's
But, like-
what to play?
It's like they're still going to play. They still have those events, but you think that those higher rankings should buy them something or should get them, like, if they're really treating this like as a season capper,
They should get entry to this Masters event. I think that's what the goal should be.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
think
I think the LVO in itself can be a big event, right?
Yeah.
Like,
oh, for sure.
and if you don't make that, you know, really limited cutoff, I mean, I would do 32 just because it kind of makes rounds easier. But I think that it's really valuable to have like kind of that be the capper rather than, you know, some random orc player knocking you out on stream, and you not even making the shadow round. I mean, that's got to be really crushing and disappointing.
I think if it's to work, you really have to give the community an ability to actually make it to that level as well.
Yeah.
And make it achievable, so that's something to work for. You don't want to. It's always going to be the same 32 guys. That's no fun. So let's like have some ranking system in place to do that. I think that's a great idea. Yeah.
The ranking is a really good idea.
It is, yeah. And then again, like you said, now you don't have something where you're like working really hard all year and you're top of the ITC, and then some guy comes along with pink Necrons and just takes everything away.
Takes your knees out. Yeah,
it's true.
Yeah, takes your knees out here. And Ricio Sante is saying, sounds like just describing the GW Open Finals. I would say with the GW Open Finals, that's like a still 200, 300 player event.
Yeah, they're just.
I don't think that's it is
in the pod system.
I thought it was 70 players.
How many qualifiers are there for the GW events that they announced?
Well, for 40K or for all the events?
For 40K, I think
there's about 70.
70?
Yeah.
Because I just read the qualifiers. That's my bad. As you can tell, this is why we don't talk 40K guys.
So so there's about 70 tickets, right? And then like those people will make it. Now you got to count on people not being able to make the tournament. That's very much a possibility for 40K players. I also think that there's probably going to be some double ups where people win more than one event and they have multiple golden tickets. I don't know how that's going to work. I guess does that like go down to the next person in line?
Yeah, they had. I was at Studs Stud and Scrub this weekend, and they handed out 2 golden tickets at that event. So yeah,
and some of the big ones do get multiples.
Yeah,
were they legitimately golden tickets?
No, they weren't. They were just like we put your name in the thing and you get your shot. That's what they are.
Okay. What are we even doing here then? If they're not actually giving.
If it's not made of real gold, I definitely don't want it.
With a chocolate bar.
There should be 3 golden tickets hidden in random boxes of models.
Wow.
And then you have like, what's a terrible unit, Danny?
Oh man.
Like Pyrovores. You'd be like, hey, there's a golden.
Pyrovores are good, dude. No, for real, they're really good.
Oh damn. Okay, what's so like, hey, there's this old box of tactical marines.
Yeah, sure.
There's a golden ticket hidden in a box of tactical marines.
Here, if you buy this box of Centurions, we'll straight up give you a golden ticket.
Yeah,
like it's on the box.
Golden
ticket inside. Like, and it may get sold, it may not. Who knows?
That was another expensive unit to buy. Oof.
Yeah. But yeah, so for terrain, Frontline obviously produces like a lot of really great sets.
Oh yeah.
You're talking a newer one, like the Chaos ones are great. The new Sisters of Battle one, these are both created with sort of player feedback. Do we think, though, it's possibly time that they should retire some of their tables? Like, I get that you put money and you put time and effort into producing it. But let's talk about things like the Robot City table that Innes Wilson had such a fun time with.
It needs a lot to make that playable. Like maybe twice the amount of terrain. In all honesty, I know that people want like these boxes and stuff like that, and that's totally fine. But there's not really any usable terrain on that table. It's just bad.
Yeah.
So that table's not great. I also think the industrial table needs so in Alaska, when we use the industrial table, we use 2 sets on one table. And that's fine. That's enough terrain. I don't think you can get by with 1 set of industrial terrain plus some little walls. I think that's just not enough terrain on the table.
No, for sure.
And we're not
definitely,
saying
like I said,
we're not saying retire the range. Like, still sell it. If people want to buy it, but maybe for the competitive series.
I think that's reasonable.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Just keep that robot city in the mid tables where everyone has a great attitude already, and a faulty terrain set will not make them any sadder than they already are.
Yeah.
Moving on. That was a nice little discussion. Thank you, Danny. This next one's called Tacoma. I barely knew her. Danny and I will both be attending the GW Open in Tacoma, having secured our tickets last week for the event. I'm very excited about it. So much so that I actually read the rules packet. And Danny, I found this very interesting tidbit about their dress code. Costumes must not be comprised in whole or in part of any real or realistic equipment of any military unit in existence after 1900. This especially applies to camouflage clothing, helmets, etc. Danny, why would a rule like this be in place?
I have a lot of opinions on this, John.
First
of all,
saying them in Spanish or?
I would. You okay in there, buddy? Are the mosquitoes coming back? Anyway, so I think that this is because cosplayers are scum, and I'm just kidding. If that's your thing, I don't want to yuck your yum, but it's
cosplaying is a gateway clothing choice to furries, and that is not okay.
I 100% agree. It shows a lack of moral fortitude. But really, it's because this is probably in a place that has some pretty significant laws against guns. And you could, if that is portrayed as a firearm, you could potentially get taken out. This is America. Yeah,
that is fair. I do want to share, though, our next piece of shilling is this Grim. I was going to say Marvel's approved, but even better, Grim After Dark approved. Brassey's Book of Camouflage. So what you're going to do, instead of playing the game, get your opponent disqualified by checking that the camouflage pattern that he's wearing was actually in use by an armed force after 1900. So just buy that book and then just get your opponent disqualified. You never have to play.
A+ rules lawyering. I love it.
Gift your opponent a hat at the start of every round, and when the judge comes up, he'll be like, "That hat is a camouflage pattern from the Falkland Islands in the 1990s." Perfect.
Got him.
Yeah. Guys, what are some real ways, though, to get a competitive advantage at these events? Because I'm coming in, as I said, solid mid-table player. So what are some things you can do at these larger events to get a competitive advantage?
Oh, sure. I find the most useful way for me to gain a competitive advantage is to introduce myself.
Do people know who you are?
I'm the confusion.
I'm so kidding. But usually I would say if you're trying to game the system like that, I would encourage you not to. I think you should try and win the game by its own merits. And by playing the game and just being an excellent sportsman and an excellent representative of the hobby. I saw a lot of this kind of stuff like at LVO, like the little mind games and stuff like that. And it definitely was a little interesting. The chirping going on at the table a little bit between some of the players was pretty fascinating. So check out the streams for those if you really want to hear some of the stuff that the players say to each other.
The table talk.
It's pretty funny to hear them like ask questions and not really give answers, and that kind of stuff like is pretty amusing to me. Yeah. But doing things, if you want to psych out your friends when you play them, I wholly encourage that. Before a lot of games, especially during lunch, if I know that one of my friends has won, I just tell them how much I'm going to whoop them when we play. Like, I'm going to be like, dude, you're going to lose real hard in this next round. I hope you're ready, because we're definitely going to pair up and I'm going to win.
And I will say, every time we're paired up round 2, you do that. even though you don't have to. And it works every single time, because even when I think I have a chance, I'm like, oh no, she's just going to do this. And yeah, it's, man, I dislike you. Lepscallion coming in on Twitch saying competitive advantage, real talk.
Yeah.
Adequate sleep before the event,
Yeah.
comfortable shoes with gel inserts, because the number of mistakes that come from fatigue is large.
Yeah.
Makes
You know,
sense.
one of my buddies, Michael Tempe, he throws out one of those mats, like the foam mats that cooks stand on, or like they go in your kitchen. He puts that on the floor. He brings it with him. It's just underneath his army tray, and he stands on that all game. Because it just really reduces knee stress and that kind of stuff. I think that's a really great idea and a good way to make sure that you're not hurting. Yeah, gel insoles are great. Yeah.
Do you think, like I said, we are going to the Tacoma Open. Is there a higher level of expectation for our experience at an official Games Workshop event than we might have at another major or super major?
Like what? Like a higher level of professionalism?
Do you have a higher expectation of the event in general and kind of its presentation, all of that other stuff, because it's official?
No, definitely not. I don't have any preconceived notions about that. I haven't been to a GW qualifier, so I'm just really trying to temper my expectations. Not that they won't throw a great event or anything like that, but I feel like a lot of times if I try really hard to go in with no expectations, like I'm usually have a much better time.
Yeah, much like you do every Monday night here on the Frontline Gaming Network.
I've been practicing a lot, John.
Heck yeah. We're going to round out here. This is prior to LVO. It's been in the deck for a while, but I wanted to throw this one in just because I feel it's important based on what we were talking about here. This comment here from David Adelman. He said, I just realized I forgot to send in 2 units for LVO champs for conversion confirmation. What recourse do I have at this juncture? Both infantry on the correct size bases. Corey Wiggins with the top comment. Enjoy your tournament. No one cares. Danny, is this accurate?
Ooh. Well, now that you've outed yourself, you should probably talk to somebody, I feel like, because they may just visit your table, because believe me, the judges look at that stuff too. But I will say, in the past, I've had plenty of times where I have not gotten conversions approved by people before the event, and it's been fine. So,
yeah.
What are the best proxies you've seen on a table, or the best like conversion you've seen at a tournament?
The best army I've seen in a while, even though it was painted like garbage, was this guy drilled out all of his Chaos Warriors for Fantasy, and he had used clear resin to make, or maybe even like hot glue or something like that, to make like a skull face and like cast it in kind of a yellow or orange resin. Maybe it was even clear. And then he stuck an LED like kind of in their neck, so that they had all of them had like glowing like Ghost Rider skull faces, and the whole army had that stuff. And there was like flames with lights all over his big models. It was really amazing.
Nice. Dickie, what about you? We're going to end on a positive note.
You know what? I had the best one. A guy brought out the old like 2nd edition. Remember when they had the cardboard cutouts for like the trucks and stuff, or the dreadnoughts?
The orc dreadnought, right?
He brought that out, and like I was like, yeah, man, I'll play that. That's awesome to play against that thing. So yeah, that's probably the best one.
Did he advance it up?
That's pretty cool.
Did he advance it up the table sideways to your tanks? So whenever you try to see, like, hey, you can't see him.
No line of sight.
He played with honor and integrity. It was full picture all the way. Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, that's not as fun. Well, let's wrap this up, guys. Danny, what do you want to touch on before we get out of here?
Man, I'm excited about doing GW Open in Tacoma. I'm super stoked about that. What's that?
What are you going to
What am I taking?
Yeah.
I think I'm going to play Eldar. I'm super happy about that. I haven't busted out the Elfway in quite some time, and so I'm pretty excited that I think I'm gonna run something around Craft Worlds. That's definitely.
I heard you kick ass with Eldar as well.
Oh man, well, it's not hard, but I I forgot a bunch of rules too, so like I could have kicked his ass even harder. So. But hey, that's how it goes. It was a refresher game, but a super fun game. Seth is one of the best opponents you can play.
Yeah, And he stopped listening after he read his super chat, so
Yeah,
we can
makes
say that
sense.
freely without
He
him
went to
getting a
bed,
big
man.
head.
It's late there.
Yeah, for sure. So they're,
He's got to wake up and kill like 80 birds.
that's true. It's true. It's gonna masticate them so hard.
Man.
Well, guys, that's all the time we have for today's episode of Grim After Dark. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for all the super chats. Who knew just asking you to give us money worked? We hope you enjoyed our discussions, our insight in all things Warhammer, and we look forward to talking to you guys next week. Remember to follow us on all social medias. You can pretty much find us anywhere at 40K Grim. For updates, join in the conversation live every Monday night at 10 p.m.-ish Eastern Time. Don't forget to hit subscribe, leave a review. Again, just say it's just okay, but 5 stars.
Yeah.
Until next time, stay safe, stay Warhammered, and ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Steve Joel.
Well, I just heard the news today, how my care is gonna change. All the old detachments are thrown away. When LVO's is done, we can start to play with Octavo Men. Can't get my list right. Just look at all my toys. Could take everything with Octavo Man. With Octavo Man. Well, Art of War and Vanguard Steve, gonna watch your shows, 'cause I need to see a list from Lennon, Siegler strategy. 'Cause all I know is now my guns are free with Octavo Man. I'll take the melters, rip off all those arms, put hammers on everything with Octavo Man. We loved Inceptors for 10 minutes. We ran them, then they're nerfed again with Octavo Man. Of all man. And you know that shell where my army's been. You can put your nails, and then for your sins, pack up all those boats and your harlequins and go back to town or iron hands again with Octavo Man. This all reminds me of when they cut the mats and it changed everything with Octavo Man. And all the points drops bring on more tier lists than we've ever seen with Octavo Man. With Octavo Man.